Hey, you're so excuse for an aristocrat. France 3 are putting out a documentary on Richard and apparently they're saying they're the faithful Louis.
Okay, you got to be kidding me, right?
No, it's going on right now. You should come. Fast.
Welcome everyone to this new episode of the Cancancy. Now, thanks to a documentary that recently passed, I am making this episode a bit in advance. We shall talk about the flat earth level conspiracy theory that Richard de Lionheart was gay. Now, as the documentary that brought you this episode is from France, it is pretty surprising because they usually have higher standards, but they took some information from BBC, and this is why in that documentary from Secret Histoire, we have French historians giving reasons why he wasn't gay, while two novelists and an English historian pretend that he was. Now, of course, I may not be so kind to BBC, but BBC do have a reputation to have no standards or integrity, and mainly do the state propaganda. And as for Richard, and BBC, Richard is the most known and beloved / respected King of England, and that is on a worldwide scale. And that brings us 4 categories of people in regard to Richard. We have the people for some reason do not know or barely know about him. We speak of someone from some low-grade backward place who only saw some Robin Hood things that, the guy in Robin Hood, or maybe some undiscovered tribes in the Amazon that never heard of him. So, yeah, you got the people who don't know about him. You have the people who think he's the best, who consider him the best king of England, and of course, you have the people who consider him the least bad king of England.
Like you.
Hey. Now, the least bad is mainly for people who have a problem with the notion of a good English king, and of course, most of his credible detractors would be in that category, mainly because the final category is England. Now, England has a bit of a problem because for the idea that the most respected king be a French Catholic kind of hurts them, and it hurts their feeling, and it really goes bad for their state religion, where they pretty much must worship the crown, yet they must despise Catholics and whatever is French. So it really does not bite them for well, especially that is the most respected worldwide, and is only concurrent that comes any close is Guillaume le Conquérant, another French guy, technically Normand, but there was enough mixing that we can simply say French. So, yeah, it does not really sit well with them, and they will spew some of the wildest theories. So, in a BBC reportage, they said it claimed to come from the devil and go to the devil. Now, the come from the devil things I speak about that in another video. The Go to the Devil, the French documentary say it comes from Bernard de Clairvaux, which is a bit more believable since we are talking about a Plantagenet. But BBC would love to have him pass for a Satanist. And having historians saying he was gay, well, combine the two, I'm pretty sure at some point they will say that he was a gay Satanist and that he played D&D and tried to use him as a way to scare those rebel colonies into submission, because that's what we expect from BBC. Now, as for the subject of the matter, was he? The answer is no. In fact, we can say with pretty much certitude that back in the day, they didn't think he was, or else he would have submitted something similar to what Edward II got. And we also have proof that he had sex with women a lot. In fact, even his death was when, rather than kneeling his shoulder, he went and got an abundance of spice, wine, women.
Food, women, and wine, Geralt.
Hey, Jasky, stay out of my show. Now, for the accusation, for the theories themselves, they usually base themselves on 4 main ideas: his lack of heirs, his late wedding, sleeping in the same bed as Philip to August, but wasn't known, was married known as Philip or Philip II by the time, and finally his confession. Now let's get in. Now for the first argument, the having no heirs, well, if you barely have sex once or twice with a woman, even without protection, that does not mean she got pregnant. A lot of things can happen, and we know that he didn't spend a lot of time with his wife. First of all, his wedding was pretty late and in full when he was on road for the Third Crusade. Of course, met his wife in Italy / Sicily. Went to Cyprus. They got a bit of a few problems there with treacherous Byzantines. Yeah, I know. Then went to the Holy Land. Third Crusade happened. She was on the boat to stay safe at that point. They did these things, eventually sent her home and came back home, ended up in Italy, then Austria, got arrested, then went back to take his throne, had his wars with Philip, so he was pretty busy. And there's also the fact that there are some uncertainties on whether or not you have a bastard. I have seen things pointing to yes, others for no. It is possible, and that is of course that we know of, because as far as we know, he might have had a lot of bastards, considering he likely had sex with all the prostitutes and public bath workers from Fontevraud to Messina. So the late wedding isn't the lack of her isn't really a good argument. Now for the second argument, the late wedding, which explains in good part the lack of her, Richard only married late. Now in the third version, while editing, I didn't realize the mistake that was imbued by the documentary where they mixed Alex and Adele. But nonetheless, so to give you an idea of the weddings, before Philip was born, Henri II was as a child, and it wasn't really legal, but was married, and we could at least say promised to Madeleine de France. This was part of Eleanor's conspiration to have France fall under English control. That kind of failed, especially that Philip was born and Henri Lejeune died. Then, with Madeleine, yes. Then Richard was promised to Adele, another daughter of Louisette. But there came a problem. His father, Henri II Plantagenet. Now, the documentary used the term murder his concubine. Now, she subished horrible things. You can all imagine what. And I won't be able to monetize the video if I say the words. So, I leave it to your understanding. And visibly, that didn't give Richard the envy to do anything with her, knowing she was victimized by his father. That said, could something have been arranged? Could there have been a solution? Possibly, but that would have been without Aliénor, who did not want that to happen and was too busy plotting. And then, of course, Aliénor had during the Third Crusade that marriage cancelled, and instead had him be with Bérengère de Navarre, so Navarre, which is right over there. Everything happened while waiting, and kind of caused a bit of a trouble, but nonetheless, he was wed late because his father did a few nasty things, and his mother, well, she also did some very bad things, because there's a lot of reasons why she's the most despised woman in the history of France. For the third argument, the sleeping with Philip, well, just by there are normally both in that time and in ours, everything is, there's a lot of things that are different, but there's one thing that is kind of similar, and it's take every student who has been on a school trip in Canada, in the US, and in other countries. Usually they put boys together, girls together, and when there's an hotel, well, you're gonna share the room and the beds and whatnot. So those two boys who have been in the same bed during that school trip are automatically homosexual. The answer is no. Or else, well, everyone who's been on a school trip, news for you, you're all homo. So yeah, it does not make them gays, does not make the girls lesbians. The same principle happened there. Now, if we want to go into more detail, kings, nobles in general, went around a lot. They spent half of their lives in tents, especially when doing a long travel or campaigning and not being in a castle. And there was a bit of campaigning when Philippe and Richard worked together against Henri II during one of the numerous rebellions that have been engineered by Aliénor. Well, the latest one, Frenier was amongst it, but there was a lot of rebellions because the Plantagenets could not get along. So yeah, lots of campaigning, and there are lots of reasons, from space economy, logistic, discussing strategy and whatnot, that two people would be in the same bed. It was part of the customs of the time and the mentality, and have no further meaning. Therefore, we can throw that things away. Now, I know that the documentary kind of want to over amplify the friendship between the two. Yes, there was a friendship. Yes, Philip's truest friend was Geoffroy, Richard's little brother, who died at some point. after the coronation of Philip. So Geoffroy was the truest friend. Was there still a friendship with Richard? Yes, up to a point, though not as prevalent. Does friendship mean anything more? No. And I know that some will say that it was purely a political alliance. What I've seen points to, yes, there was some political stuff, a lot of it, but there was still a bit of a friendship. At least until Italy. So, all in all, do friendship mean anything more? No. Do sleeping in the same bed mean anything more? No. And now for the final argument, the confession. Well, Richard confessed to having unnatural relations. Now, if you haven't seen my episode on the Worms Book of Penance, intern, can you give us a small reminder?
Well, they had all of these sex toys, the animals, the sisters, and so much more with stuff.
Yeah, so thank you. As you can see, there is indeed plenty of things that could be unnatural, things that we still think are natural, things that would be merely considered kinky, and at that point, considering he got along with Saladin and is an English king, I could even have more credibility saying that the thing he confessed was about goats, that he had a thing for goats, and that one of the reasons why he got along with Saladin is because they talked goats to each other. Now, as far as I know, neither of the two had anything, but this is as likely, and maybe even more. So this is merely to give you an idea of the credibility of the thing. It does not mean anything. So, if we bring everything together, we have proof he had sex with women. We know that they didn't think he had the time because the English lords would have done a few things to him, or at least tried. His lack of hair is in no way tied to anything, and is mostly explained by his late wedding and him being busy. His late wedding is due to both his parents having done some vile things, and of course the confession could mean absolutely everything. So in other words, there is nothing to support this, and the closest I could say in a case of extreme generosity for that theory, let's say someone wanted to romanticize something in a novel that they did not pretend to be stoic, it's that there's always doubts and we don't know, and sure, maybe the confession could have included that, but that big maybe of a doubt is, not even the shadow of the ghost of a doubt, and we do not have any real proof for it, and therefore it is fairly I will go fairly safe to just assume and say that no, he was straight all the way. And on this, I bid you a good day and farewell, and until the next episode of the Count County.